Have you ever reached the end of the day and wondered, why do I feel so spiritually exhausted? You prayed this morning. You read a chapter from the Bible. You even asked God to guide your day. But somehow, by lunchtime, your patience was gone. By afternoon, your peace had disappeared. And by night, you felt farther from God than when you woke up. Maybe you've asked yourself, what happened? Most people think spiritual exhaustion comes from one big mistake, one major sin, one season of rebellion. But that's usually not how it happens. Imagine filling a bucket with clean water. You pour and pour until it's completely full. Then you carry it home. But when you arrive, it's almost empty. Not because someone dumped it, because it had tiny holes the whole time. That's how many of us live spiritually. We keep pouring in prayer, Bible reading, worship, church. But throughout the day, tiny, almost invisible habits quietly drain everything God poured into us. Today, we're going to uncover those hidden leaks. And more importantly, we're going to replace them with simple lifestyle shifts that protect your peace instead of stealing it. These aren't dramatic life changes. They're small decisions. But small decisions, repeated every day, shape your spiritual life more than occasional spiritual highs. Let's begin.
Leak number 1. Never allowing your mind to be quiet. Have you noticed how uncomfortable silence has become? The moment we wake up, we grab our phone. Driving? Turn on music. Cooking? Play a podcast. Cleaning? Watch YouTube. Walking? Headphones. Waiting in line? Scroll. We've become experts at avoiding silence. The problem isn't podcasts. Music isn't the enemy. Even Christian content can become constant noise. When your mind is always occupied, God's gentle voice becomes harder to notice. Throughout Scripture, God often spoke in quiet places, not because he couldn't speak louder, but because quiet hearts hear better. Think about it. How many times has God reminded you of a verse while you were simply walking, or convicted your heart while sitting quietly? Those moments rarely happen when our attention is constantly consumed. This week, try something simple. Drive to work without turning anything on. Wash dishes in silence. Walk outside without headphones. Give God space. You might be surprised how much he has been waiting to say. Leak number 2. Comparing your life without realizing it. Social media isn't always harmful. It can inspire, encourage, teach, but it also quietly trains us to compare. Someone buys a new house. Someone announces a promotion. Someone posts the perfect family photo. Another person shares their spiritual breakthrough. Before you even notice, contentment begins slipping away. Comparison rarely announces itself. It whispers, "Why isn't my life like theirs? Why isn't God blessing me that way?" The danger isn't only jealousy, it's distraction, because comparison shifts our eyes from God's plan for us to someone else's highlight reel. Peter experienced something similar. After Jesus restored him, Peter immediately looked at another disciple and asked, "What about him?" Jesus answered with remarkable simplicity, "If I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You follow me." That's still God's answer today. Your calling isn't someone else's journey. Your assignment is faithfulness. One practical shift. Before bed, instead of scrolling through other people's victories, write down 3 blessings God gave you today, even small ones. Gratitude closes the door that comparison leaves open. Leak number 3, living every moment in a hurry. We rush everywhere. Rush through breakfast. Rush into meetings. Rush through conversations. Rush through meals. Rush into tomorrow before today even finishes. Speed has become normal. But peace rarely survives in constant hurry. Jesus was never rushed. Crowds followed him. People demanded his attention. Yet he walked, stopped, listened, prayed. If the Son of God didn't hurry through life, why do we? Here's one habit that can change your entire day. Every time you transition between activities, pause for 60 seconds before entering your office. before walking into your home, before eating, before picking up your children. Simply stop. Take a slow breath. Pray, Lord, help me be fully present in this next moment. Just 1 minute, that's all. You'll discover that peace often lives in the pauses we usually skip. Leak number 4, feeding anxiety more than faith. Most of us don't intentionally feed anxiety. We simply consume too much of what creates it. Bad news, negative conversations, arguments online, constant notifications, breaking headlines every hour. None of these are necessarily sinful, but together, they slowly shape our thoughts. Whatever consistently enters your mind eventually influences your heart. Paul wrote, "Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, think about such things." Notice he didn't say, think about everything. He said to intentionally choose what fills your mind. Imagine eating junk food all day and expecting your body to feel energized. We understand that physically, spiritually. It's no different. Ask yourself one honest question. What occupies more of my attention? The world's fear or God's promises? One small shift. Before checking the news every morning, read one passage of scripture first. Let truth become the first voice shaping your perspective. Leak number 5. Ending the day without giving it back to God. Many people begin their day with prayer. Very few end it with reflection. The day simply ends. Phone, television, social media, sleep. Then repeat. But throughout Christian history, believers have practiced something beautifully simple. Looking back over the day with God, not to criticize themselves, not to feel guilty, but to notice Him. Ask yourself each evening, where did I experience God's goodness today? Where did I ignore His guidance? What should I thank Him for? What do I need to surrender before I sleep? 5 quiet minutes can completely change how tomorrow begins. Because instead of carrying today's worries into bed, you hand them back to the one who promised to carry them. The biggest leak of all. There's one leak that quietly hides beneath all the others. Living spiritually on autopilot. Going through routines without genuine relationship. Reading scripture because it's on the checklist. Praying because it's expected. Attending church because it's habit. External routines matter, but they're meant to lead us into communion with God, not replace it. Imagine a married couple who still say, "I love you" every day, but never truly listen to each other. Eventually, the relationship becomes mechanical. Sometimes our relationship with God can become like that. God isn't inviting you into perfect routines. He's inviting you into daily fellowship. The habits simply create room for that relationship to grow. Here's the encouraging truth. If you've recognized yourself in today's video, don't feel discouraged. Every single one of these leaks can be repaired. Not overnight, not by trying harder, but by choosing one small faithful step today. Remember, great trees don't grow in one day. They grow because every day, their roots quietly receive water. Your spiritual life grows the same way, not through dramatic moments alone, but through ordinary faithfulness. One quiet prayer, 1 minute of stillness, one grateful heart, one less distraction, one intentional pause. Small habits, big transformation. Final encouragement. Jesus once said, "Whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much." That principle applies to our spiritual lives too. Sometimes we ask God for greater peace, while ignoring the tiny habits quietly stealing the peace we've already been given. Maybe today, God isn't asking you to do more. Maybe He's inviting you to leak less. So here's my challenge. Don't try all 5 shifts this week. Choose just one. Only one. Practice it every day for the next 7 days. Notice what changes. Notice how your heart feels. Notice how much easier it becomes to recognize God's presence throughout ordinary moments. Because spiritual peace isn't usually lost in one dramatic event. It's protected, one faithful choice at a time. If this message encouraged you, share in the comments. Which invisible leak challenged you the most? Your story might encourage someone else who thought they were the only one struggling. And if you want more practical, Bible-centered encouragement that helps you walk with God in everyday life, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay close to God, protect your peace, and remember, the smallest faithful habits often produce the deepest spiritual growth. Subscribe for more Bible-centered encouragement.